Hi everyone, it's Bren here. Welcome to this week's garden update, where I have a lot of fun things to show you which are growing here in my cottage garden. I'm excited to take you around and check out what's been happening over the last 7 days. Before we get into it, I would like to say a huge thank you for all of the comments on last week's video. It really is true that you don't realise what's going on in someone's life, and you know, kind words can mean a lot, and your comments did mean a lot. So usually I don't go on about anything, you know, what's happening to me personally or my family, but I've decided to let you know something that is going on at the moment, which, I mean, we are fine, everyone's good, but unfortunately the pandemic has finally arrived at our doorstep. We have a few members of the family who have the virus. While they've all had mild symptoms, they're doing well. I mean, I can't complain, but I'm just letting you know it's hard because we have had it one after the other. It wasn't a case of everyone getting it at the same time. So we're going to be entering week 3 next week. We have to do our isolation exit test. I think it's on Monday or Tuesday. I have it noted somewhere. My brain's just a bit foggy because I'm kind of drained of energy. And if we pass that, the remaining members who are negative, one being myself, I haven't caught it yet for some reason. I don't know. Like, I mean, we're all vaccinated in the family, but you know. Oh, sorry, I'm going on a bit. I hope I'm making sense. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I was really grateful for your comments last week. They were really nice, and they meant a lot to me. Thank you so much. I made a few new discoveries in the garden this week, which is really exciting. It doesn't include this gorgeous red dahlia, but I wanted to start off showing you this because it is now opened fully and it's looking spectacular. There's another one up here. Unfortunately, I don't know its name because, like many of my dahlias, it's a casualty of that storm that hit a few months ago where all my labels got wrecked. Anyway, I'll figure it out eventually, or maybe one of you guys knows the name of it. Over in this spot beside the dahlia patch, or one of the dahlia patches, this is where I showed you that beautiful gourd that got chewed up last week, and I was a bit disappointed. But look at this. I don't know how I didn't spot them before, but there are multiple more on the plant. And over the last 7 days, I've been giving them plenty of water, and that in combination with all the heat that we have received, these have just gone berserk. Like, look down here, there's a couple, there's another fairly large one here, relative to how big they're going to get, of course. There's one down here too. And in the bed where those gourds are growing, there are 3 other plants from that mixed small warted gourd pack, and I have even discovered more in this small raised bed. From one of the plants here in the corner is this gourd, mostly a lemon yellow colour. You can see some very faint stripes, and it has already got quite a few warts on it. Down here at the base, it's this very pale green. On the opposite corner of the bed, the other gourd plant has really produced some funky looking ones. I know it's a little bit hard to tell, but this one is a light green covered in warts, and on the same plant we must have had a bit of fusion of flowers. Look at this one. That's all I'm gonna say, just look at it. The wind is starting to pick up. It was similar last week when I was making this video, but it's not too bad, just a breeze. It's actually quite nice to be out here where it helps to cool you down a bit. So it's a little bit harder to see when the garden's in full sun, but I will continue with showing you some of my new finds over the last few days. One being down here. It's a French heirloom rock melon. And we have been over here many times checking up on this plant in many a video, but for some reason I've never even noticed this fruit being set. And now we're at the stage where it's the correct size for harvest. However, it's still not ready to pick quite yet. It just needs to ripen. The plant helps you by letting you know when these fruit are ready. Pretty much I find with rock melons, they tend to just slip off the vine. So once this is ready, this area here, when I come and check in it one day, it will just slide off, and that's when I know it's going to be the perfect time to eat. I'm now going to talk to you a little bit about green tomatoes. So in my view, there's two different types of green tomatoes. You have ones like these here, which just haven't ripened yet. So this is actually a variety called yellow stuffer. Once they ripen, they will change to a beautiful, vibrant, cheery yellow colour. And then you have other green tomatoes like these ones here, which actually remain this colour even when fully ripened. Let me go and show you now a couple of short videos chatting about these very curious varieties. This tomato will never change colour. It remains green even when fully ripened. This is because it's a true green tomato. The reason why it doesn't ripen to red is because it doesn't contain the chemical lycopene. And it's this chemical that causes a lot of tomatoes to change to this colour. Here are two signs that I look out for to tell when my true green tomatoes are ripened. Firstly, the skin changes from a dark green to a lighter shade. Secondly, when ripe, green tomato varieties feel the same to touch as a ripe red tomato. You're now looking at that new garden bed that I planted out back in midsummer, which has a variety of edibles and flowers, and truly I would say even the last few days there have been more zinnias flowers popping up. Plants have increased in size, which I kind of feel like it's happened overnight. Like say down here for example, this is the Crookneck Squash, absolutely covered in them. I'm just waiting for them all to get a little bit larger before I start harvesting. Actually, this one even here has grown quite a lot since I inspected the plant this morning. Down here, the little potato cucumber plants have a lot of fruit. You can see I actually have 3 plants here. I didn't bother thinning them out, so hopefully I'll get a bumper crop, but it's a little bit hard to tell because, you know, having so many plants this close together can actually be detrimental to the health of the plant because they don't really get enough airflow. But you know, it doesn't seem to be an issue at the moment. And then I've got all of the other melons, like watermelons in here. There's lots of different types of basil. Speaking of this basil, I have a short little harvest video to show you now, which I think you might like. We'll see. The garden gave me a very friendly reminder today when I was harvesting a bunch of basil to always check the back of the foliage before I go snacking on any of it outside straight off the plant. Has that ever happened to any of you? Almost every one of these lemon striker sunflowers in this row are blooming. And the great thing about these plants is that they have multiple blossoms on just one single plant. Glass gem corn has gone nuts. Lots of beautiful flowers. I always love and really enjoy the first zinnias opening up, especially when they come from mixed seed packs. You never quite know what to expect, what colours you'll get, varieties. Like this one here looks like a cactus zinnia. There's a few of these Cinderella peach zinnias, and a whole selection of little lilliput zinnias which have the smaller blooms. What's on that one? Let's have a look. I'm curious now. Oh, it's only some kind of flower bud. It looks like it's come off all of these in here, which are a salvia plant. Here is one of my all-time favourite varieties of zinnias. This is called peppermint stick. I love the little speckles on the petals. And then you have the really big bloomers, the Benary's Giant. These are huge. Got a couple of these coral fountain amaranths starting to flower. This is actually the first time I've grown this variety. I do quite like growing amaranths. Usually go for really bright bold colours, but this is nice, something a bit different. Well, that's about it for this week, everyone. But before I head off, I want to let you know a little bit about a very special event that's coming up on the 6th of March. It's called Clean Up Australia Day. It's run by a not-for-profit organisation called Clean Up Australia. They do great things here in this country. If you live here in Australia and are interested in joining a group of like-minded locals who are going to clean or remove litter from a allocated area in your community, you can head over to their website and register to get involved. I'll leave the link down below in the comments and the description for this video. Well, that's it guys. I hope you have a great week ahead. Stay safe and I'll see you again next Friday.